All right, good Tuesday afternoon, everyone. Thanks for stopping by for a check of the forecast. Hope everyone's doing well today. We have got a hot one here across the high plains. Temperatures have soared into the upper 80s, and there's even a couple of us that sprinkled into the low 90s this afternoon. That's good enough for Amarillo to actually be the hottest temperature all time that we've ever witnessed in the month of November. That old record was 88 degrees, set back in 2023. So just a couple of years ago on November 7th, we made it to 89 this afternoon. We have come down since then. On top of the hot conditions, it is quite dry. The winds are out of the southwest. They're a little breezy. They're around 15 to 20 miles an hour, especially in the southwest side of the Panhandle, and the humidity's around that 10 to 15%. So we're dealing with what we would consider to be elevated fire conditions. We actually have had a couple of fires this afternoon. There's one in north of Bishop Hills right now. That one's estimated to be just a few acres. It's not very large. One of our photographers was trying to get up there to get on scene, but all the roads are already closed and shut down. It's kind of in an area where there's only one way in, one way out, and the responders have already got that highway closed. So we don't unfortunately have live video of that one. We do know it's up there near Rapstein Circle, north of 1061 by several miles. So if you go kind of up North Soncy and just keep going where it dead ends up there at the canyon and where you kind of get off into the river valley, that's where that fire's generally expected to be. And there are a handful of homes out there. Listening to the scanner, doesn't sound like there's any homes threatened at this point. They've been talking about the head of the fire being about 50 yards wide, and the length of that fire only about 150 to 200 yards long. So it's not very big. But again, that's they do have 3 seats that they've requested on that fire, and I'm likely just due to it being in close proximity to some homes. But it doesn't sound, people don't sound very animated on the scanner traffic, so I think that fire is going to be okay. But again, it's pretty small. It's still active. We're going to continue to try and relay that information as it comes in. Unfortunately, the camera doesn't have good view of it, and we can't get a live video of that area just because the roads are already closed up into that area. There's another fire in the Stinnett area. There's not much information that's come out on that one either, but there is an active one up there also. And then we had that one fire over in Carson County near Panhandle. That one was just a few acres, and that one looks like it's been batted down. We'll take a look from Panhandle's camera there in just a minute. But 30 acres estimated on that fire in Stinnett. Looks like, at least as of 12 minutes ago. Locations reported to be west of Highway 136 and Highway 207. So the exact fire location, again, probably a little subject to change. But generally speaking, it's west of 207 and also west of 136. So that's a pretty broad area out there north of Stinnett. So it's in between Stinnett and Pringle. That's closer to Stinnett, though, it looks like. Let's go ahead and run through the computer model, or rather, go ahead and roll through your forecast. So we've got, again, a lot of dry air here at the surface. You got a few high clouds kind of hanging over the panhandles right now. Let's take a look at those temperatures. You can see we're sitting at 84 here in Amarillo, 89 in Clarendon, 86 in Borger, and 88 there in Hereford. Winds, you can see specifically in the southwest side of the area is where it's breeziest. That's where we're dealing with more of those full-fledged elevated fire issues. The winds aren't very strong today, and so those fire speeds aren't going to be very fast if one does break out. So hopefully that helps our first responders in batting down the blaze. You can still see they're kind of in mop-up duty. This is from Panhandle, from that first fire that got going just west and northwest of town. You can see again still a couple of some lights flashing out there. Looks like they're definitely just in mop-up duty at this point, probably just looking for maybe some hotter embers still on the edges of that fire. Here's what we know about this one over in Bishop Hills. This is so like here's Soncy. You can see it heading north up through Bishop Hills. And then you've got like Rapstein Circle up here in Sherman here. There's this canyon that kind of drives and runs off into the river valley. This is where we expect that fire to be, kind of in that canyon there. but it's not a very big fire. We do know that 3 seats, or otherwise known as single engine air tankers, have been requested to assist on the fire, likely to get a bird's eye view to help areas, first responders on the ground continue to battle those blazes and to try and, put down a fire break in an area where that fire is headed. So here's our record heat that we had in Amarillo today. Again, we're at 84 now, but around 1:30 this afternoon at the airport, it actually reached 89 degrees. Again, the old daily record high was 85. That was set a long time ago, back in 1916. And we had a monthly record high, which was set a few years ago, of 88 degrees. Both of those getting put to rest, and we've got a new number that's going to go into the record books there. Borger, you guys also had a record high today of 86 degrees. That one was just a daily record high of for the 4th, which again broke that old record set back in 2017. Y'all's record for the month all time, I believe, was 91. So that one looks to be safe. But again, still technically another hour or two of sunlight, but it's getting pretty low on the horizon. So those temperatures should start to cool off. Notice our highs for tomorrow. It's dialed back quite a bit, about 20 degrees or so. So it is going to be closer to average for those temperatures. And that's thanks to a cold front that's going to push through early tomorrow morning, probably in the wee hours of Wednesday morning. Let's go ahead and run you through the model and show you what we're talking about. So here comes that front. This is 7 a.m. It's probably made its way mostly through the area by the time sun comes up. As we get into the afternoon, that northeast breeze, which is breezy to start, is going to slowly calm down throughout the day. And then moving into Thursday, we do get that southerly flow to return again. This is 8 a.m. You can already see those winds turning back to the south and west. Another front arriving. Would not be shocked if we see temperatures get back up into the 80s again Thursday afternoon. And given the direction of the wind and the cold fronts drawing out any kind of residual moisture that we have, we'll probably have another similar day like today on Thursday. So some borderline elevated fire issues. The winds won't be crazy strong, but as hot as it's going to be and as dry as it will be, that's probably going to allow fire to spread. Maybe not at a fast pace, but it will allow it to spread. So just something to think about. Try and avoid those activities that could start a fire. Make sure that you're, again, not doing those on those days that are hot, dry, and especially on those very windy days as well. So there's that second front that's going to come pushing through later on this week. The next system that we're watching, or at least the bigger story, will be that third and final cold front, which will arrive over the weekend. That's going to be a more potent shot of cold air. Models are starting to come into much better agreement that those temperatures are going to be considerably colder on Sunday compared to where we've been and will be for the next 4 to 5 days. In fact, we may have high temperatures limited below 50 degrees in some areas. It's going to be a very cold Sunday, kind of soup and stew weather. That north wind is going to certainly allow for probably some very cold temperatures as well. On Monday morning, we've got you down to 30 degrees for that day, 56 for the high here in Amarillo on Sunday. But areas up like Dalhart, Stratford, the Oklahoma Panhandle, it's very possible you guys do not see 50 degrees on Sunday morning or afternoon. It's going to be a very cool, very breezy day, feeling much more like fall rather than today. Like today, when we got up to 89, that's like a traditional first week of June kind of temperature. It feels like summer out there this afternoon. Now, these record temperatures in November, much easier to manage and tolerate compared to summertime record heat, but still way too hot for this time of year. And we'd certainly like to see a little bit cooler weather than the high 80s, especially for November 4th. That's all we have for you for right now. If any more additional information comes in on those fires there in Bishop Hills and Stinnett, we'll let you know. Again, as of right now, the fire up in Stinnett is estimated to be 30 acres in size. They don't have a containment number on it. And then that fire up in Bishop Hills, last update, looks to be 2 acres burned, and as of about 3 o'clock, there were a couple of evacuations from some of those homes up there near Rapstein Circle. So that's not very many people, but if you live up there on Rapstein Circle and maybe north of Sherman up there at the 7800 block of Rapstein, that's where they're having a couple of homes evacuated per the radio traffic. But aside from that, that is all the information that we have on those 2 fires. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and make sure to tune in tonight at 5.